Major news from our nation's capital today, including a major arrest. A suspect has finally been caught after putting pipe bombs near the headquarters of both the RNC and the DNC on the night before January 6th. Early this morning, the FBI swarmed the suspect's home in suburban Virginia. Who is the suspect and what did the agents find? That's coming up. Also today in Washington, a Navy admiral briefs lawmakers on the kill order made on a suspected narco boat. 2 were killed in the second strike on the same boat. We're going to have more on that in just a moment. And also, I had Ghislaine Maxwell, the pal and co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein, wants out of prison now. Will that happen? Plus, our outrage of the day. Why is baby Jesus being zip-tied? We're going to tell you about this disrespectful display at a church. And great news for an 88-year-old vet who packs groceries. How this veteran got some help from a very unlikely place.
I'd like to share your story and try and, get people to help you retire.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. You're amazing.
You will definitely want to see how this story ends. But first, earlier today, U.S. Navy Vice Admiral Frank Bradley arrived at Capitol Hill. He was there to give a classified briefing to members of Congress. Vice Admiral Bradley is reported to be the commander who ordered the follow-up strike on an alleged drug smuggling boat in the Caribbean. That second of 2 strikes, which took place on September 2nd, killed 2 survivors from the first strike. After the briefing wrapped up, lawmakers from the House and the Senate Armed Services and Intelligence Committees gave this update.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service. Any American who sees the video that I saw will see the United States military attacking shipwrecked sailors.
The first strike, the second strike, and the third and the fourth strike on September 2nd were entirely lawful and needful, and they were exactly what we'd expect our military commanders to do.
What exactly did you see in terms of the video of the second strike? Were there survivors?
I saw 2 survivors trying to flip a boat loaded with drugs down for the United States, back over, so they could stay in the fight. And potentially, given all the context we heard, of other narco-terrorist boats in the area coming to their aid to recover their cargo and recover those narco-terrorists.
There were some things that I was briefed on that are reassuring about process, about intelligence, about the role of the JAGs. But more broadly, what we are asking the men and women of our armed forces, and in particular special forces, to do, I think still lacks clear justification. That's not specific to this operation or this strike. That's the entire undertaking.
Meanwhile, across the Potomac River at the Pentagon, the Office of Inspector General is out with a new report, and it is critical of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. The report says Secretary Hegseth put U.S. troops at risk when he used the Signal messaging app to convey sensitive information about military strikes in Yemen. National Security Correspondent Carla Babb has the latest. Carla?
Hi, Greta. Yes, the Pentagon's acting inspector general concluded after a months-long investigation that Secretary Pete Hegseth created additional risks to U.S. forces and missions. The report determined Hegseth shared sensitive U.S. operational details on the commercial app Signal before the op was complete. It said, quote, the secretary's actions created a risk to operational security that could have resulted in failed U.S. mission objectives and potential harm to U.S. pilots. The incident in question occurred in March when Secretary Hegseth shared attack plan details, including the aircraft types, exact flight times, and impact times for strikes over Yemen. The signal groups included then National Security Advisor Michael Waltz and other members of Trump's national security team, along with Hegseth's wife and Atlantic reporter Jeffrey Goldberg. Chief Pentagon spokesperson Sean Purnell called the IG review a, quote, total exoneration and said it proves no classified information was shared. Officials, however, who were briefed on that report say the statement oversimplifies the investigation, and here's why. When I read it, the investigation confirms the information Hegseth shared originated from a classified message marked secret and sent to him through a classified network. And it concludes he violated Pentagon policy, which specifically prohibits the use of Signal for U.S. government business with limited exceptions, and he didn't go by established procedures for declassifying information. But Hegseth may not have broken the law, because, as the report states, Hegseth does have the authority as secretary to declassify information, which he says he did, writing to the IG in a statement that, quote, I took non-specific general details, which I determined in my sole discretion were either not classified or that I could safely declassify, and created an unclassified summary to participants of the Signal chat. Now, that report lacked a Pentagon record showing this information had been unclassified, Greta.
And of course, let me just add to that before I go back to the Admiral, is that there were two separate Signal chats. And the second one was with his wife, his brother, who worked at Homeland Security, but not at the Pentagon, and his lawyer. So anyway, he'll, I guess, have some explaining to next time he's on the Hill. All right, let me go back to what happened today, the Admiral going to Capitol Hill. First of all, it was not shown to all members of Congress, was it?
Right. Not everybody got to see this. It was what they call the four corners, the top leaders, the Republican and Democratic leaders in the House and Senate, and then also those on top of the intel committees.
Okay, so we don't get to see it. The American people, we don't get to see it.
I would like to see that. I hope that they will declassify this and show this to everybody. But right now, no, we haven't seen it. We just have to base what we know on the people who have seen the footage.
There have been several of these strikes on these boats. Several of them we have seen the videos, right?
Part of them. So they've all been edited. So we get to see the strikes. But as we learned with this strike, when we were given the footage of the first strike, we only saw the initial strike. And as we learned from Tom Cotton today, there was a double tap and then two other strikes on this boat. We don't know if that's happened to other attacks. We haven't seen the fallout after the strikes occur. We just see that brief moment in time right before the strike.
I can understand classifying how we get the information, our methods and means of getting the information, but what I don't understand that once this is over, how they give us edited portions of some, they let us see parts of this. I don't understand, what's the harm? Where's, this is supposed to be a very transparent administration. President Trump is so transparent, so I understand why his Pentagon and Secretary Hegseth and his Admiral can't likewise be.
Well, it's typical for this to happen where they only give you a small sliver of the strikes. And that is just because they reference the methods used and other issues. They don't want people to know which direction they came from, different targeting methods. But it seems in this instance, that's not a necessary concern. So they could, if they wanted to, release all the footage to us.
To me, it's like this double tap, with two people clinging and hitting them. I don't like that at all. I don't have all the facts, so I wait. That's why I want to see the video, because maybe there is, Senator Cotton says, their explanation. But I started to go back in history a little bit and do some research, and it's almost like I must have been asleep at the wheel back in 2009, because then President Obama did a double tap at a funeral in Pakistan. We weren't at war in Pakistan and killed 41 funeral goers. I don't know why I took my research to come up with that. Why I don't even, that should be embedded in my mind that we did that, killed those 49 or whatever it was.
That's
41.
Right. And that's not the only one. I believe it was President Bush, a U.S. airstrike in Afghanistan, killed 47 civilians in a wedding. But we were at war in Afghanistan. We were at wedding. Obama did it again in December in Yemen. There was an airstrike that targeted a militant but ended up hitting a wedding party.
We weren't at war with Yemen.
And so, full disclosure, I did not start covering the Pentagon until the end of 2014. So all of these strikes were before I was on the beat.
I was definitely sitting in the anchor desk. Like I don't have that excuse, because I have been covering these things for years.
But it does raise questions. You're right. I mean, there should be scrutiny, and I know I can go back and find the reports that all of the news outlets were doing at the time. But maybe this is one of those things where we take a look and see, is this something that's going to be acceptable, and why don't we ask more questions about it?
But is this hitting it when we're in war or with countries at war? My research today said that during the during the Bush administration, they had 57 of these strikes. And they were in Iraq and Afghanistan. We were at war. In the Obama administration, there were 563 Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, and other outside war zones, which to me is, it's stunning. And Congress is asleep at the wheel too. Everyone should be squawking. I mean, if these people need to be eliminated, have at it. But at least we should do it. We should have this discussion, and it shouldn't be hidden.
Agreed. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said we were at war. Part of that was because there were militants involved, and we were at war with these militants. I think maybe this is being viewed a little bit differently because the war part of this has still not been flushed out by Congress yet.
The one I picked out in Pakistan, we weren't at war with Pakistan. It was a double tap. And once you hit people and a missile hits and everybody else rushes in to help and you hit them again. I mean, and 41 people at a funeral who were civilians were killed. Anyway, then they really had a funeral. Carla Babb, thank you very much. Coming up. Better late than never. 5 years after pipe bombs were planted near the Republican and Democratic National Party headquarters in Washington, D.C., a suspect is now under arrest. That when the record continues.
People can't stop talking about Rob Schmidt.
I trust the news from Rob Schmidt every single day.
They say he's no BS.
No BS. No liberal crap.
He hates liars.
The honesty and up-to-date news and none of the fake news.
He tells it better than anyone.
Everything is straight, legit, real news.
He's your voice.
Rob Schmidt, 7 p.m. Wouldn't miss it.
Tune in to Rob Schmidt tonight on Newsmax.
I love Newsmax.
Hi, I'm Bob Webster. You know, in cold weather, I'll bet you every farmer, rancher, and homeowner in the country worries about their pipes freezing and breaking. Well, the Freeze Miser ends that worry. No batteries, no wires, just some amazing technology that lets it sense when the temperature of the water in the pipes drops to 37 degrees. Then it starts releasing exactly the right amount of water. Check it out at freezemiser.com or at your favorite nursery, garden center, hardware, or farm and ranch store. It's the Freeze Miser, and it works.
Joining us is Dr. Drew from the Wellness Company with advice for dealing with seasonal colds and flu. Doctor?
Cold and flu season is here, and every year you or a loved one gets sick. Your doctor can't see you. Waiting in a crowded urgent care is brutal. This is a particularly bad cold and flu season, and it's why doctors suggest every family needs an emergency medical kit. Your medical emergency kit is filled with essential prescriptions. It includes antibiotics like generic Z-Pak to get well faster, amoxicillin for pneumonia, strep throat, ear infections, plus prescriptions for nausea and UTIs, and even ivermectin. It's easy. Just match your symptoms to the prescription in your guidebook or call the telemedicine doctor standing by. Take your medication early and feel better faster. Having a medical emergency kit is like having an urgent care in your home. No waiting to see a doctor, no lines at the pharmacy.
Smart advice. We've shared the website and discount code below to save viewers $45. Order now and your kit will be rushed to your door. Thank you, doctor.
Almost 5 years later, a suspect has finally been arrested in connection to the pipe bombs planted near the Republican and Democratic National Party headquarters here in Washington, D.C. on the evening of January 5th, 2021. Brian Cole of Woodbridge, Virginia, has been identified as a suspect in custody. After the arrest, the Justice Department held a news conference. Here are a few highlights.
Let me be clear. There was no new tip. There was no new witness. Just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team.
Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen. We were going to track this person to the end of the earth. There was no way he was getting away. Well, we didn't have to track him to the end of the earth. It wound up in Woodbridge, Virginia.
We dove into more than 3 million lines of data to come up with this suspect.
4 years, 10 months, and 28 days ago, an individual placed a bomb in the vicinity of both the RNC and the DNC. And for that amount of time, that individual evaded accountability. Today, as a result of the cumulative efforts of the men and women in the FBI and the police department and the Department of Justice, we are finally able to make an arrest of an individual by the name of Brian Cole. As the Attorney General has indicated, he is arrested for transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce, as well as the attempted malicious destruction by means of explosive materials.
Former U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, Jay Town, joins me. Jay, there's so many shocking things about this, but perhaps the most shocking thing as I listen to this press conference is that there's no new tip, no new evidence. It's taken almost 5 years, 4 years, 10 months, and 28 days, according to Janine Pirole, the U.S. Attorney, which means that everybody was just incompetent because there's nothing new. They just didn't bother to do their jobs correctly.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it took 5 years to get to this point, or just shy of 5 years, Greta. And it looks like, and I was reading the complaint before we came on because they've just released it, and there's a lot of interesting information in there. It looks like that the reason they were able to get to the credit cards and the bank accounts and the purchases and the shoes and the car and those things was because they checked the cell towers at the DNC site and the RNC site. For your viewers, Greta, cell towers have 3 120-degree pies that sort of jet out in those directions. And every time your phone is in the area of that tower, it interacts with it and it's logged. And so who is it at this time? We had video of the person. Who is at that tower at this time and at the RNC tower at the other time? And there's probably only going to be one person, maybe 10. And so, look, credit to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Judge Pirro for getting this done. They've only been in office for maybe 7 or 8 months altogether, and here they are. I don't know what the previous FBI was doing, but they were not focused on this case, and we've had a lot of segments, Greta, of the things they were focused on.
Yeah, they weren't focused on this, a pipe bomb, maybe 2 pipe bombs. But I think, even in one video, it appears that the person who left this package, which I assume to be the pipe bomb, looks at his iPhone or does something. And even then, there must have been some activity, and they had to have had that video from the get-go. So besides just being able to locate it by having your cell phone and figuring out how many people were in those same 2 spots at the same time, and they can actually tell when you were at that spot. And they had the videotape; they could have matched that up. It's just, it's so disappointing that this has been sitting there like that. But Justice, I also bet that when push comes to shove, that this guy said something to somebody, and that somebody's got some information, has been sitting on it for 5 years, because you don't just keep quiet when you commit these crimes. You say stupid things to other people, and people just don't call the FBI anymore.
Yeah, and as much as people have sort of lost their confidence in law enforcement or the Bureau or other agencies, my hope, Greta, is that this helps restore it. This showed a great partnership between local police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Department of Justice, and someone who could have killed a number of people. And the complaint says he was out buying bomb-making materials again, and so could have fashioned another bomb together and maybe actually hurt someone this time. And so, but for the actions of this team, and Summer Heat and Bongino's sort of leadership on this with Kash and Pam and everybody else, this person would still be among us. So, this should help restore the confidence maybe we've lost, Greta.
Well, maybe the confidence in this team in this crime, but you and I both know, of instances. I always bring up Natalie Holloway. They're sitting in the next room watching Ron Vandersloot committing extortion. They didn't arrest him. And then he went off and killed somebody else. So there's so many instances where the FBI has so let down the family of the woman who was killed because he slipped away. That it's like, congratulations to Pam and to Jean Perot and Kash Patel and everybody else involved. But our FBI really, they'll chase down stupid stuff and, let the important stuff get away.
Yeah, some of the investigations into, the Catholic Church and as being a domestic terror. I'm Catholic. You went to Catholic school growing up.
What a waste of time that was.
What
a waste of time. What in the world was our Attorney General Garland thinking, signing off on that investigation, investigate the Catholic Church on that?
Yeah, you could ask that about Merrick Garland in a number of instances, I think, Greta.
Well, I will say this, though, he wasn't busy investigating this case. It's been evident because he didn't solve it.
He wasn't thinking about this.
J-Town, thank you.
Thank you, Greta.
And the Republicans in the House just added a new member to their roster, Matt Van Epps. The winner of Tennessee's 7th Congressional District special election was sworn in.
You will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God. Thank you. Congratulations, you're now a member of the 119th Congress.
Van Epps defeated Democrat Afton Ben, and if you watch this news show, and I hope you do every day, you know that Ben openly said she hated Nashville, which is part of the district she had hoped to represent in Congress. But that's not all with her. In 2020, she made comments about wanting to dissolve the Nashville Police Department. And she also said she hated country music. Nashville, which she had hoped to represent, is the home to the Grand Ole Opry, the most famous country music stage in the world. But Van Epps now replaced Republican former Tennessee Congressman Mark Green. Remember him, the quitter? Back in July, Green quit Congress. He found something he liked better to do, so he quit. Coming up, did President Trump nab another peace deal? This one in a decades-old conflict. It started after a horrific genocide. That one, the record continues.
Hi, I'm Katrina Ziff. I've worked on the red carpet, I've worked at Vogue magazine, and now I work at Newsmax, and I couldn't be happier because it's all about bringing the most important stories in the world directly to you.
What do you say? I love you, and I'm alive. Eric was a 50 cal gunner. He wanted to help his fellow soldiers, and he served a total of 4 years. What? Twice, yeah, he did two tours in Iraq. He was hit by an armor-piercing round, right above his right ear, exited above his left ear.
They served with honor, and now it's our turn to help them. Join Wounded Warrior Project. Call or go online with your gift of just $19 a month to help America's injured warriors get the life-changing care they need.
Eric wanted a family so bad. That's the hardest thing when he looks at me and he says, when am I going to get married? He's so severely injured, he can't have his own kids. And he's not mad about it, but he's sad sometimes.
He's been through a tough life, and he's come through smiling.
Warriors like Eric need to know that we won't leave them behind. Our donors help us provide life-changing programs and services at no cost to warriors. Please call or go online with your gift of $19 a month, and we'll send you this blanket honoring the 250th anniversary of American independence and freedom.
Wounded Warrior Project, they have not forgotten the sacrifice that our family did.
They still know we're here. That means so much to me, because this is never over.
All the donors who keep believing in Eric, I can't put in words how much it means to him.
Thank you, he says.
The need is urgent. Please give a little to those who gave so much for us.
$600 a year. If you're 50 plus, you could save up to that much by switching 2 unlimited lines from Big Wireless to Consumer Cellular. So why don't you pick up your phone while I take this hammer and right now get your second month free. Call Consumer Cellular.
It's the Blue Compass RV annual Blue Tag clearance. Save over 40% on select new RVs during our largest sale of the year. Plus, every RV comes with a 1-year VIP membership to RV Complete, a $5,000 value. Visit us online or in store today.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
Total Beats Ultimate Heart Health is the newest innovation from America's best-selling Beats brand. Ultimate Heart Health contains a key ingredient clinically shown to deliver 2 times better blood pressure support, plus CoQ10 for even better heart health. Find Total Beats Ultimate Heart Health at Walmart today.
In 11 months, President Trump has secured several peace deals. Now, with his help, a more than 30-year conflict dating back to the Rwanda genocide could be coming to a close. Today, President Trump met with the leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. They met to sign a peace deal. As you see in this map, the 2 African nations who have been warring for years sit right next to each other. One is 89 times bigger than the other. Here's President Trump.
They've spent a lot of time killing each other, and now they're going to spend a lot of time hugging, holding hands, and taking advantage of the United States of America economically like every other country does. So they're going to do very well. But they do have some very valuable things. They're going to have a lot of money and a lot of success, and I think they're going to get along really well. Today, the United States is also signing our own bilateral agreements with the Congo and Rwanda that will unlock new opportunities for the United States to access critical minerals and provide economic benefits for everybody.
In 1996, the first Congo War began. That was in the wake of the 1994 Rwanda genocide, where more than 800,000 Tutsis and Hutus were murdered in only 100 days. That genocide and its huge number of atrocities is something that has haunted one of America's most famous diplomats.
I was not among the very few who saw early that the decade's most shocking crimes would engulf the small country of Rwanda. My deepest regret from my years in public service is the failure of the United States and the international community to act sooner to halt those crimes. President Clinton later apologized for our lack of action, as did I.
White House reporter for the Wall Street Journal, Annie Linskey, joins me. Annie, listening to former Secretary of State and before that former Ambassador to the UN, Madeleine Albright, talk about that, she was constantly saying about how this was the most incredible genocide and the whole world just looked the other way.
Yeah. I mean, that was such an awful, awful chapter. So much of the propaganda, I recall, was sent around via the radio. And I do remember one of the options for the United States was to take out some of those radio stations, which could have just at least stopped the communication. And that's one area where some of the diplomats I've talked to who worked on that project, deeply regret it. Just a simple thing like that could have saved, maybe not stopped it, but could have slowed it at least. And it was just, really one of the most hideous things of that decade and that era.
I mean, but when you think of 100 days, that's like since September to Christmas.
I know.
800,000 plus were slaughtered.
Yeah.
It's like, and congratulations, President Trump. I realize there's strategic interest. We want the critical minerals there. I mean, we have some reasons to want to get involved there. But congratulations to President Trump for something so stale and old that most people can't even place on a map. I had to pull up the map and look again to see where Rwanda was placed to the Congo.
Yeah, I feel like what we're seeing emerge here in Trump's second presidency is, he talks about peace through strength, but it really is sort of manifesting into, peace through commerce. And you're seeing that a little bit with his negotiations with Russia as well in a different conflict. But even when you talk to Democrats who have worked, people who work for Democratic administrations who worked on the Congo and Rwanda, they compliment what the Trump administration is doing. It's not peace yet. There is still fighting in that region for sure. But I think all parties have said that this is a very big and meaningful step toward peace. The critical minerals deals, that is a big piece of it. I mean, there is, when people are making money with each other, they're less likely to be shooting each other. So.
Well, and it also enriches Rwanda and the Congo if they can, tap into some of their minerals and get a. It also, what else it does? It keeps China out of there. To the extent that they're dealing with us, it keeps China out of there. And China, of course, hasn't been our friend. But they've also renamed the Institute of Peace, that building. And I looked it up today. I thought, what is that building? I've seen it 1,000 times. It was created in 1984 during the Reagan administration. He signed the law. But I thought, why are taxpayers paying for that? And they haven't, I've not paid much attention to them. But I thought today a lot of people are criticizing it. They've renamed it the Trump something, the Trump Institute of Peace.
Yes.
But Trump actually has been doing what nobody else has. In the Middle East, he's probably going to pull this off in Russia, come, hell or high water, he's going to do that. But even to reach back to Rwanda in 1994.
Yeah, and, of course, Cambodia, India.
And Thailand, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. There have been a number of conflicts that he has really relished in the second term, sticking his oar in and improving situations between countries. And I think that is something that he's getting a lot of credit for. He did not, as you know, get the Nobel Peace Prize, which he really wanted.
The nominations were due in January.
Well, that's right.
He wasn't going to get it anyway.
I know. Yeah, that's right. There had been some speculation that he was hoping to have Russia done so that it would get in by the deadline for next year. But I will say that I think that the Europeans in particular, when you look at the conflicts in front of him, they do see Russia and Ukraine as the major one and the one that counts the most. And that is because, of course, it is in their backyard. And they are also the ones who give out the Nobel Peace Prize.
You know what, though, as we march into midterms, though, the concentration, as it is every year, every 2 years, is on the economy. And all his advances that he has made in world peace, whether it's in Israel, everything he's done will be of no moment probably as people vote, because people don't vote as to, whether we've made the planet calmer. Right. Or whether, it's like, it's all it's going to, I mean, it's, so he's going to, he means getting heavily, criticized, beginning now. Every time a jobs number comes out, if it's unfavorable, he gets hammered by us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the role of the president. I mean, we talked about this many times when Joe Biden was being hammered for the economy that he oversaw. And Trump also is going to have the same criticism. Trump is doing something very difficult with the economy. And we've talked about this a lot. He is overhauling it with these tariffs. And the way in which the tariffs have been put into place have been very difficult for companies. They change a lot. They change frequently. There hasn't been like a stability even to the baseline of the tariffs. And that's his own team trying to get it figured out. But that does have consequences downstream, and it does make companies very nervous.
He has been consistent because he used to be on my show every week when I was at Fox for Years of Business. And I'd be talking about practically the weather, and he'd say, China is ripping us off. And I'd think, well, I didn't ask you about China. He would, he's been 100%, he's been completely consistent all the years that I've interviewed him, is the fact that he does not like that the United States has been, as he said, ripped off is the word he'd used. China's ripping us off. And I think, well, I didn't ask you that one, but.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I mean, the idea of tariffs has been a constant with him. I think that's absolutely right. What has been difficult for corporate America and for the economy is that the levels have been changing a lot. And so it's very difficult to make a long-term investment in a country or change your supply chain if, today it's a 20% tariff and tomorrow it's a 40% tariff.
Well, and the consumer gets in the way because if we have a choice between buying a T-shirt that's made for 50 cents with slave labor out of Cambodia or Southeast Asia, or pay $50 here made in the United States, that we're going to take the cheaper one. Yeah. And so the American consumers are somewhat complicit in this whole sort of confusion over the economy because we want the cheaper products, but they're made overseas.
That's right, and that's where the tariff could help. It's going to raise the cost of that $5 T-shirt.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting, but how he has always been consistent.
Yes.
Whether you like him or not, or whether you agree with him or not, he's been consistent.
He has had that vision for a long time, and now he's carrying it out.
Yeah. Anyway, Annie Linskey, The Wall Street Journal, thank you.
Thank you.
And for more than 5 years, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been on trial in Israel for corruption. Today on X, in his own words, the Prime Minister said what this trial is really about. Here's the Prime Minister in his own words.
I want to share something with you. Yesterday, I do a broadcast. The interviewer says to me, Prime Minister, could you tell us what your trial is about? So I did. And I was flooded with a deluge of responses of people who said, wow, we didn't know. So I thought I'd let you know too. I'm accused of receiving favorable press coverage from a second-rate internet site. In the 250 years of liberal democracy, no one has been accused of receiving favorable press coverage as a crime. That's the so-called bribe. Except when the trial progresses, as it did, it turns out that I didn't get favorable press coverage. I got unfavorable press coverage. I mean, the most hateful, antagonistic, negative press coverage you can imagine in Israel, and that's not an easy thing to achieve. So 2 years ago, the judges called the prosecution in and they say, drop the bribery charge. It doesn't hold. Just let's end this thing. Prosecution refused. Yeah, it's a political trial, and they're not interested in justice. They're interested in getting me out of office. So what's left? Well, they said this. When they cross-examined me, they said, Prime Minister, 29 years ago, your son received a Bugs Bunny doll. So help me God, that's what they asked. You received a Bugs Bunny doll. From now on, this trial will be known as the Bugs Bunny trial. And you also received cigars from a friend. That's what I'm being charged with. Now, this is absurd. And of course, this trial is just going on and on and on. 6 years of bogus investigations on these idiotic charges. And the trial now has been going on for 4 years. and it's expected to go on for another 2 to 3 years. I have to go into trial. I got to sit down when I tell you this, okay? I have to go 3 times a week, 8 hours per day, to discuss this nonsense. Now, it's funny, it's comedic. I was a champion debater in my high school, so it's a farce. But this farce is causing the country a lot. There are big things to do. There are peace treaties to get. There's AI and other technologies that are amazing that could change Israel, could change the Middle East, could change the world. That's what we do best in Israel. I can't deal with that. So they asked for a pardon. I asked for a pardon, okay? And we'll see if it comes out. But you wanted to know what this trial is about? This is what this trial is about. Bugs Bunny and cigars. Ridiculous.
You heard the Prime Minister mention a pardon. That is something, by the way, President Trump has endorsed. Coming up, a longtime companion of disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein wants out of prison. Start guessing who. That when the record continues.
Hi, I'm Charlotte McBride. I love working at Newsmax because every day we bring you honest reporting with real conversations, no spin. We're not telling you how to think. We're just giving you the facts and letting you decide what's best for you and your family.
What's gold is new again. Pardon the pun. But considering gold has been used as currency since around 550 BC, it has been on fire the past year. I'm here with Daniel Boston, the founder of Preserve Gold. Why is gold so stable and such a good investment for many people?
Take the central bank, for example, the Federal Reserve. They print money out of thin air, and then they take that printed money to go buy hard assets like gold to protect themselves against the very risks that they're creating. So I always tell people, don't do what the big players are telling you to do. Do what they're doing themselves.
Yeah, watch what they're doing.
That's correct.
Okay. If people are interested in investing with Preserve Gold, how do they get started?
Text Newsmax to 50505 to get your free information and up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase. That's right. Text Newsmax to 50505.
All right. No way you can miss it.
Does it ever feel like society is going up in flames, yet people don't have the strength to care? There's a hidden reason for that, and it may surprise you. Testosterone levels in American men are at an historic low, and it's testosterone that gives men the energy to be men. Support your own natural testosterone production with Chalk. Go to chalk.com/TV1 for your $17.76 discount. Chalk's all-American customer service team is standing by.
Radical jihadists are not done. Iran promises death to America. They've built sleeper terror cells in the U.S. They support terror groups out to destroy Israel, including Hamas, whose founding charter calls for Islam to dominate the world.
The young people have been educated to believe that the most sacred thing they do is stab a Christian in the heart.
The only democracy in the Middle East that supports religious freedom is Israel. Standing for freedom, not terror.
JB Smoove, what are you doing here?
I'm always here. I know what you're doing here, though.
A consumer cellular commercial. You know, we should get you signed up.
Aren't I too young?
We got deals for people over 50.
That sounds great. Sign me up. Make it happen, Teddy.
Right now, get your second month free. Call Consumer Cellular.
Hi, I'm Wade Allen Root, the national TV and radio host known as the MAGA warrior and the capitalist evangelist. This presidency is ushering in the golden age of prosperity, and it's all built around making America the energy capital of the world. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery. It's estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, with a management forecast projecting the first 25 wells alone to produce 400 million cubic feet per day of natural gas. This is how we power the AI future of America with clean natural gas. Headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose previous public companies delivered spectacular returns for investors. At their peaks, Pedico Energy grew about 100 to 1 for investors. Ultra Petroleum grew about 1,000 to 1 for investors. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, scan the QR code on the screen or go to lostsoldier.com. That's lostsoldier.com.
Ghislaine Maxwell, longtime companion of disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, wants out of prison. Yesterday, her lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, filed a letter in Manhattan federal court. And the letter alerts the court that Maxwell will be filing a petition for habeas corpus. Now, that petition is routine. It's a routine petition telling the court that the person is being detained unlawfully, unconstitutionally, and should be released. What is notable in this letter, though, is that it informs the court that Maxwell will be representing herself. In her petition, Maxwell will challenge her December 2021 conviction. She was convicted then of conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, conspiracy to transport minors to participate in illegal sex acts, transporting a minor to participate in illegal sex acts, sex trafficking conspiracy, and sex trafficking of a minor. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year prison sentence in a federal women's prison in Texas. Former federal prosecutor Joseph Moreno joins me, and I always like to give you a little behind the scenes. As he sat down, he told me that today he made colonel in the reserves. We'd call you Colonel Moreno.
Thanks, Greta. That's very nice of you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I feel safer already. Anyway, all right, now to your other job, your day job as a lawyer. She's going to represent herself. That's a recipe for disaster, but she's pretty smart.
I mean, you can't blame her for trying, I suppose. I mean, you have a lot of time on your hands when you're serving a 20-year sentence, so you can try anything. Habeas petitions, fewer than 1% of them are actually granted. It's a high
They're
bar.
routine, though. I filed a zillion of them, but they're routine.
They are routine. Remember, her case has been litigated for 5 years now. So, and she's appealed it all the way to the Supreme Court without any luck. So the likelihood that she has a brand new argument that will be successful and that she will argue on her own without an attorney, very long shot. But again, I can't blame her for trying, I suppose.
Why did her lawyer file the letter saying she's going to file one in the first place? There's no notice requirement, is there?
No, there's not.
And I thought that was a little weird. Just let it go.
More for PR purposes. The only way she's getting out of jail at this point is if she gets a pardon. I will say that she touches on an important point, which I think the bigger point here is this concept of releasing grand jury materials and investigative files. I understand all the palace intrigue about the Epstein case, and everybody wants to know what's in there, and there's been all these inferences by one political side versus the other that there's all kinds of bad information in there. But this is why we don't do it, is because when someone is not charged with something, the investigative files about them or the witnesses that provide information or the inferences that they did something wrong is now put out in the public.
Well, I also think she has something pending someplace. And so her case isn't totally closed, which means that releasing a grand jury testimony, in theory and argument, could taint her trial. I mean, it's not the worst argument I've ever heard.
No, it's a little circular. It's basically saying I'm asking to be let out of jail because the release of this information will prevent me from a future petition to get out of jail.
Right.
So I get it, but it does open up the point about why we don't do this. And think about witness participation, too. Are you going to actually want to contribute to an investigation if you think your information you provide to the FBI or whomever will be out in the public? People will say, well, why are we even questioned? There's all kinds of implications about doing this. And so even though she has a long shot, but she's touching on a right point here.
When you were prosecuting cases, is there any sort of promise or anything read to the grand juror or the witness before the grand jury that the grand jury testimony is secret? Because once that person does testify at trial, then we as a defense get it at that point. If the person never testifies, I never see the transcript.
Exactly. Or if a case is never brought, the grand jury materials are sealed.
But is there any sort of promise to the witnesses or not?
No. In fact, we asked them not to talk about what they've testified about. Some do anyway, which they really. But every once in a while, you see someone go on television saying they testified before a grand jury. They're really not supposed to do that. But
they're not supposed. You don't want them. They have a right to do that.
Yeah,
they have a right to do that.
Really
you may not want that as a prosecutor.
There's no serious consequences for
right.
them doing that. But no, normally those are kept out of the spotlight unless someone is charged. We've now crossed this Rubicon of releasing Epstein information. And what makes that case special, other than the fact that there's a lot of scrutiny that's been going on for all these years?
I mean, I had no interest in it. Then everyone started talking about it. Then I got sort of interest. And then I thought, is that we're going to fight about this forever unless we have transparency. I'm big on this transparency stuff. So at least get it out there, and then people can have at it. But I'd be surprised if the federal judge in New York unsealed grand jury testimony. Pam Bondi has asked for it, but I don't know if he will.
Well, the other thing is, too, do you really think from a practical perspective this will end the debate? There's always going to be people to say...
But it somehow puts a little bit of the lid. At least you can counter someone making up stuff a little bit with facts.
I mean, a judge can refuse to reveal certain things. You can redact certain things. You can say certain things.
I hate redaction.
I know. But, I mean, even if you do that, people will still say, well, they're still hiding something. There's still Epstein files files that haven't been released. So this is not going to end the debate. And instead, it sets a bad precedent for now. Why won't any case investigative files be released? And people are not going to like that if it turns out information about them is put out there that they weren't actually charged with.
I'd love to interview her just because I just don't, I mean, she's did the worst crimes. And she also did a TED Talk that I saw on YouTube where she's talking about oceans, and she seemed so dignified, elegant, smart. And then you hear the crimes. You think it's like, who are you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure she's a smart woman. I'm sure she has a lot of
She's not that
interesting
smart.
things.
She's sitting there doing 20 years.
No, I mean, and I don't think she's going anywhere.
But and of course, we always say that a man's always with the adage, a man who represents himself is a fool for a client.
Yeah, everyone hates us lawyers until you need us, and then we're your best friends. So I agree. You don't want to go out there on your own.
Is there any crime at all that, from anything you can think of, that could come out of this Epstein file, hypothetically, and anything that's released? Or is it just we're going to get information?
I think if there was something in there that was actionable, we would have known about it a long time ago, either officially or it would have been leaked. So I think no matter what's out there, everyone's going to be disappointed because nothing good's going to come out.
I think don't prosecutors sort of make a decision once you get someone like you got her, she got 20 years, so you're done. You leave her alone. You don't look for 30 more years on her. And the same thing, Jeffrey Epstein, once he was dead, there was no sense digging in his files to look for crimes. He was dead.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance she's going to be charged with additional things.
Oh, I don't think so either.
The statute of limitations, I'm sure, has lapsed. So I don't know what she's going to say she could be charged with now. It's more embarrassment. Her only
how
chance...
could she be more embarrassed?
Well,
how
I mean,
in the world could that woman be more embarrassed?
Exactly.
Or maybe she's not embarrassed. Maybe she doesn't think it's wrong.
Again, I mean, the only chance she has is a pardon, and if she hasn't gotten that by now, I don't know why she would going forward.
I don't see her getting a pardon from anyone. Anyway, Joe Moreno, thank you.
Greta.
Nice to see you.
Thanks.
Now to a story we told you about at the start of this show. Ed Bambas. He's 88 years old. He's a veteran. He is still working. He needs the money. He works at a Detroit supermarket. In 1999, Mr. Bambas retired from General Motors, but then more than a decade ago when GM went belly up, went bankrupt, Mr. Bambas lost his pension.
The thing that hurt me the most was my wife was real sick, and when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage, and all but $10,000 of my life insurance.
Oh my gosh.
So I sold the house, sold the property I had, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
What's your dream?
To live somewhat the life I was hoping for.
Now you get to see how really good some people are. More than $1 million has been raised to support this gentleman. The man who shot the video says the goal is to help Bamba retire. I suspect, though, even with this money, he won't retire, but life will be a whole lot easier. Coming up, 2 words this year were really hard for people to say. That when the record continues.
Invest in Ukraine now. Ukraine is rebuilding, innovating, and shaping the future. Because Ukraine is the potential. Kyivstar is Ukraine's leading digital operator. Invests in Ukraine's connectivity, entertainment, ride-hailing, healthcare, and innovation. It's time to think opportunity. It's time to think Ukraine now.
Do you have a yo-yo smile? Sometimes yellow, sometimes white. It's a constant battle between everyday stains and whitening treatments. Until now, get Smile Actives, the daily teeth whitening breakthrough that gives you a more youthful smile and helps you keep it.
At 43 years old, I don't mess around with products that waste my time. Smile Actives is easy, and it works. No gloopy trays, no messy strips. Just add a little bit on top of your toothpaste when you brush your teeth. And ta-da, white teeth.
Just add Smile Actives to your favorite toothpaste and watch the magic happen. Our patented Polyclean microfoam lifts away deep stains for a dramatically younger and whiter smile.
You have a choice. You can have those yellow teeth and just be old Nana or Pop-Pop, or you can be smiling and dazzling and full of confidence. I love my white teeth.
Scan, click, or call for your whitest smile yet. And if you order right now, we'll double your whitening free. Get an extra Smile Actives as our free gift to you, but only while supplies last.
I drink coffee every day. I started noticing that my teeth were not as bright as I'd like them to be, a little dingy. The Smile Active, it works. Got your boy gleaming.
100% of users saw whiter teeth. Smile Actives lifts away even the toughest stains from coffee, wine, and food, gently restoring your bright, youthful smile. Plus, it's safe for veneers, crowns, and dentures.
It's really a no-brainer if you want to whiten your teeth.
Clinically shown to brighten your teeth 5 shades whiter in just 7 days.
If you could use something so easy like Smile Actives to take yellow teeth to white teeth, why wouldn't you?
Act now. Get Smile Actives for just $24.95 and we'll double your order free. But hurry, this deal won't last. Smile Actives is guaranteed to work. Whiten your teeth or get your money back. No questions asked. Don't wait. Get Smile Actives for just $24.95 and we'll send you a second bottle absolutely free. That's free shipping, a free extra bottle. That's an incredible 58% savings. Scan the code, go to smileactives.com or call to get your beautiful whiter smile now.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
It is time for our outrage of the day. The nativity scene is a Christian tradition. It is to represent the birth of Jesus. So brace yourself for this church in Illinois. Its nativity scene shows a baby Jesus zip-tied. But that's not all. In this nativity scene, Mary and Joseph are wearing gas masks. And there's more. Surrounding the whole family are Roman guards dressed as ICE agents. According to the Lakefront Church, quote, this installation reimagines the Nativity as a scene of forced family separation, drawing direct parallels between the Holy Family's refugee experience and contemporary immigration detention practices, end quote. Well, it's not just a church in Illinois. A church in Massachusetts is also sparking controversy. St. Susanna Catholic Church had the traditional manger scene. However, the Holy Family is missing. Instead, there's a sign that reads, ICE was here. Where's the family? Another sign reads, quote, the Holy Family is safe in the sanctuary of our church. The sign also includes a number to report ICE agents. Now, of course, these churches do have a First Amendment right to protest as they do and to mock Christian tradition. But how about just letting Christmas be Christmas? Give it a break. And did this year's biggest news leave you tripping over your words? You're probably not alone. The list is out for the most mispronounced words of the year. And I have to admit, some of us anchors here at Newsmax are guilty of flubbing at least one of them.
Zoran Mamdani.
Mamdani. Yeah, it seems like that happens a lot to the mayor-elect. During one debate, he said this.
The name is Mamdani, M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it because we got to get it right.
Hopefully before Mayor-elect Mamdani is sworn in on January 1st, we will have learned to pronounce his name correctly. And another word that had people stumbling, the Louvre. After robbers stole the crown jewels, some struggle with pronouncing the world-famous Paris Museum. I got lucky on that one because I took French in school, but don't ask me about algebra. And coming up, a man walks into a bar. We all know this is a joke. But what a man finds is something you'll never guess. That when the record continues.
You hear the same voices.
Donald Trump knows that's a lie.
From the same people.
Donald Trump is less lucid.
Saying the same thing.
Insults, invective, and outright lies.
And you say, enough. I'm Chris Salcedo, and I'll tell you the real news. If you don't believe me, just tune in.
Joining us is Dr. Drew from the Wellness Company with advice for dealing with seasonal colds and flu. Doctor?
Cold and flu season is here, and every year you or a loved one gets sick. Your doctor can't see you. Waiting in a crowded urgent care is brutal. This is a particularly bad cold and flu season, and it's why doctors suggest every family needs an emergency medical kit. Your medical emergency kit is filled with essential prescriptions. It includes antibiotics like generic Z-Pak to get well faster, amoxicillin for pneumonia, strep throat, ear infections, plus prescriptions for nausea and UTIs, and even ivermectin. It's easy. Just match your symptoms to the prescription in your guidebook or call the telemedicine doctor standing by. Take your medication early and feel better faster. Having a medical emergency kit is like having an urgent care in your home. No waiting to see a doctor, no lines at the pharmacy.
Smart advice. We've shared the website and discount code below to save viewers $45. Order now and your kit will be rushed to your door. Thank you, doctor.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, at 91 years of age with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, neither of us have any kind of sickness, and we're as flexible as we were 30 years ago, and we still do the physical things we did 30 years ago. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you. You won't believe it. Immuno 150 is an awesome nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it.
Yes, it really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order online or call the number listed on the screen, but don't place your order until after you've watched the videos on our website. Thank you from both of us, and God bless.
They killed her brother. They shot her dog. And they took her hostage for 400 days and terrifying nights. They raped her. They put guns to her head. They starved her. These are the stories of Israeli women attacked by Hamas. If you are supporting Hamas and radicalized Palestinians, this is what you are supporting. Choose freedom, not terror.
At Lumber Liquidators, we have the best prices on flooring, and we guarantee it. Find a lower price, we will beat it with our best price guarantee. We have over 200 stores nationwide. Find yours at lumberliquidators.com. Tell them Tom sent you.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Sponsored by Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, the health of fresh food with the convenience of kibble. Visit drmartypets.com/TV.
Talk about party animals. Yesterday, it was a raccoon at a liquor store who got drunk as a skunk. Well, today, it's a seal in a New Zealand bar. The baby seal waddled through sliding glass doors. Customers were stunned, trying to usher the seal out. After much chaos, the seal then waddled all the way into the bathroom, just like the raccoon. Turns out rangers were already tracking the fugitive. The seal got a name from the staff in the bar, Fern. I have no idea why Fern. Fern was released back into the wild and gave the bar a seal of approval, literally. That wasn't my joke. The Chris Salcedo Show is up next. Have a good evening.